Don't judge me. Don't you do it.
So, in this Riot podcast, by the way, hello.
Hi, guys.
We hope you're having a wonderful day.
The heart speaks when the heart speaks.
So, yesterday in the podcast, you probably heard about this Adam guy from Winnipeg who is selling his Blu-ray, DVD. What's the other formats?
He had Blu-ray,
VHS,
DVD, VHS, Laserdisc,
and a few
beta,
others.
And seems like there was some other thing.
He's selling his movie collection, which he's had, I think he's in his 20s, but he's been buying them.
No, he's older than that.
He is? He's been collecting for 25 years.
So he's 35, and I think he got his first movie when he was like
he said
11
it was
or
like
12.
at Christmas time, and then he started buying, and he'd go to...
Little did his parents know that was his first taste of that drug.
So yesterday, like we talked about, he's trying to sell it for $1 million. That led to, well, what is Obi's collection? Because Obi, you feel like he has a large movie collection.
And I do.
But today, you'll find out about the Blu-ray side of things in this Riot podcast.
I didn't count the DVDs, just the Blu-rays.
Which I'm curious too.
The only thing I'll say is, like, I decided on a number this morning because I was like, all right, this is it. But I wouldn't be surprised if I go home and open a cabinet and
there's
a movie
something else somewhere else.
Or something like that.
But, give or take, 5 or 10.
But we settled on a number, and you're going to get that number inside this podcast.
Well, enjoy this podcast. Don't forget, you can always follow us for more at Radio U Riot on Facebook, and also join us at Radio U Riot on YouTube or riot.radiou.com. That's our hub for all of our stuff.
It's the Riot.
Bye. Say goodbye too.
Bye.
Bye.
I didn't say bye.
It's something.
Okay.
You should have, but thank you for doing that. Bye.
It's the Riot.
The worst of the Riot. Proof that you're already living in that dark future dystopia. Radio U.
I'm not going to get into details, but Nikki and I just found one more thing from yesterday that's broken.
You were right. You were having a great day, and now I'm having a great day because one thing that broke now affects me, and it was just like, oh, that is wonderful.
Oh, my gosh.
Yay!
Okay. The thing yesterday that I discovered that was like, man, how did we live without this? And it's rediscovered. I've used it before, but how do people live without YouTube? Now, you're thinking, I know. I got all my shows on there. I just love the vlogs and the travel stuff. And I love... no. That's
and all the how-tos.
Listen, that's great and everything, but no, it's the how-tos I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because yesterday, YouTube saved, not my life, but my sanity for sure. Nikki, have you ever... This is such a weird thing.
Please don't tell me one of your toilets broke again.
No, toilets are fine.
A car?
I hope they're fine. I didn't inspect them all this morning, and it wasn't a car thing. No. Have you ever had to change the inner tube in a wheelbarrow?
In a what?
Wheelbarrow? A wheelbarrow, depending on how you say it. No, you can... It's both.
Is it?
It is.
Well, now we're learning all these different things.
I'll tell you. You and I have even had that discussion on this show. We have, yes. That's how I know it can be both.
It can be both ways.
So I'm going to call it a wheelbarrow, but...
Barrel.
Okay. I had firewood delivered yesterday.
Yeah.
Guy couldn't get it in the garage like they used to. I had to dump it in my driveway. So it had to make a journey.
From the driveway into your garage?
Yeah. So that's a lot more work, just to let you know. So just right there's a lot more work. And then I was like, I'll just do it one at a time. And it's like, and you're an idiot. So got this wheelbarrow. I have one. I didn't buy it. I don't even know where it came from. I didn't steal it.
Maybe one other year you needed firewood.
Somebody
is it neighbors?
A parent must have given it to me. That's all I know. That must be it. My dad probably. Every tool I have in my garage came from my dad having pity on me and giving it to me or buying it for me. So I get it out. It's flat, so I inflate it. It's flat. So do you even know how to act?
First off, that's when you say, do you even know?
Do you even
all right, wait.
Do you even know how to measure a tire on a wheelbarrow?
I don't know how. So it's in a real tire a bigger tire where you pump it up full of air?
So I pulled the tire off and I'm like, there are a lot
Do you
of...
have a spare?
There's a lot of... No. It was underneath it.
That'd
just
be cute.
Pulled it off.
Yes, you pull it out. Now, you don't drive on it too long, okay? But you can at least get the firewood.
So I pull it off, and I'm just like, I don't know what? Nobody taught me about this. I don't know what this is. There are numbers all over this tire. Which one of these numbers tells me what kind of tire it is? So I just took it to a hardware store with me, have mercy on me. I go in there total side note, one of my friend's dads from high school works there, and I couldn't tell if I was thrilled that he was there or embarrassed that I had to tell him how stupid I was.
You were carrying in a wheelbarrow wheel.
Hey, I graduated from high school, but they never taught me about wheelbarrows. I got a diploma. You were there. You saw me get it.
You told me, but I don't know how to do this. Fix it.
So after a long talk, I almost bought a whole new tire. And then he was like, wait, really, you just need an inner tube. And then I swear to you,
swimming?
Another guy came over and he's like, oh, yeah, you have to put the inner tube on. And it was just like he put his hand on me and he's like, good luck with that. I thought, oh, good.
Hey, thank you so much.
So I bought it. I got it home. And then I discovered what the problem was. After, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes of just it not working. I literally,
couldn't you just throw the wood from the driveway into the garage?
Maybe. I don't know.
You just really wanted to use the wheelbarrow.
Do you know how much of a cord of wood is?
No, I don't.
Okay. If it was like...
I would have probably been very frustrated.
I mean, if it was like,
Can you take a shovel
pizzas,
and shovel it in? You needed the wheelbarrow. That's fine. You needed it.
Yeah. And so... long story short, I was just like, I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to.
Because what does that do?
So I was like, I'm not even making this up. I was like, God help me. And it was just like a voice inside me. It was like, YouTube. So I Googled how to change a wheelbarrow tire.
And you got it?
It was a 2.5-minute video.
Yeah.
It took me a little longer than it took the man in the video who seemed to have a lot of experience changing out these tires. I don't know where he lives. But I did it. And the moral of this story, between God and YouTube, how could you live without either one?
You should be able to change a tire, even a tiny tire.
Having a bad day? Blame the Riot. Everyone else does. And in fairness, it's probably their fault. Radio U.
I think I'm just going to go ahead and sign up for some 5-month same as cash financing.
Oh, you should click on that.
I should, don't you think? I'd really like to get the new Kindle, so...
What?
I'm not even kidding.
No way.
I'm not even kidding. Yesterday, sometime last night, Amazon announced a brand new Kindle.
Yeah. So
Did you see it?
An e-reader? No, not yet.
I love it. The first photo of it is a woman sitting on a yacht in the ocean reading her Kindle, and she doesn't have to be afraid to do that because this Kindle's waterproof.
Nice.
Okay.
I was thinking more like it got left out in the rain. That'd be a normal day-to-day scenario that we would more associate with.
My thought for me was like, show some guy dropping his Kindle in the bath.
In the bath.
That's where your waterproof Kindle's really getting taken care of.
A small bath, but still a bath.
It's still a bath, Nikki. We'll make it a bubble bath so, all the important parts are covered. But still, right? But the pool, that works for me too. But yeah, yesterday they announced this, an all-new Kindle Oasis. Now, it's just an e-reader. So it's not a tablet like a Kindle Fire or something like that. 7 inches, high resolution, 300 ppi.
Woo! That's some technology right there.
Points per inch? Pixels per inch?
I think it's pixels, maybe.
300 ppi. We don't know what it means either.
Don't know at all.
Waterproof. It's got built-in Audible. So if you're doing an audiobook, it will do that for you. 8 gig Wi-Fi, with special offers. So it's still going to have ads on the screen. Now, Nikki, what would you pay?
Oh, I don't know. I'm feeling since, we're on the yacht, money's not an option.
Money, it's trivial.
So it's not about it because we'd spend anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say $200.
You're a sweet kid.
It's an e-reader. Come on.
I know.
$200. How could you make it much more than that?
How could it be more than that?
It's a book. It's not a book, but it's a book.
It's a book. What do you think?
$250, $249?
Actually,
$250?
$249.99.
Yeah, because of course it wouldn't be just $250. It'd be $249.
How could it be that? That's crazy.
$250 is too much.
And it's available as a one-time payment of $249.99, or right here, 5 months at $50. If you want to do that.
If you're going to get in the hole for something, I don't know if it's going to be a Kindle e-reader. It does look very nice, though.
Well,
and
I'm not arguing with that.
You might use
nice
an e-reader more often than you think. It depends. I always go back and forth. Eric has an e-reader, But then I could read perfectly fine on the Kindle app on my
I will tell you,
tablet or phone.
I had a tablet, and I've got an Android tablet, and I love it. It's great. But I do have a Kindle, and I was told that I was a fool for getting a Kindle because I already had a tablet. But I will say that
it's a different style.
I've got a Kindle Paperwhite, and it's probably one of the best things ever. I read. It's almost the only thing I read on, unless it's nonfiction, in which case I like a physical book. But all of my fiction, he's very particular. I have read more having my Kindle, quite frankly.
Sure.
I love that thing. So,
well,
I felt criminal for spending $120 on my Kindle Paperwhite.
Well, now you don't need to feel bad because this is way more. It will ship. It's the Oasis. It'll ship at the end of this month, and I guess there was already an Oasis, but this one's waterproof or something.
So it's a new Oasis.
Yeah, last year's one. So there'll be 4 Kindles total in Amazon's lineup that they have. They have the original, the Paperwhite, the Voyage, and the Oasis. Okay.
I don't even see why, and I mean, this sounds whatever, but I don't know why you would even get the original at this point. Like
the price.
Like, what's the price break between the original?
They don't say at this point in this article.
I'm just curious because I'll have to say the backlighting of the Kindle Paperwhite, it's magic. And it's technically not backlighting, Nikki.
And it's technically not magic.
It's front.
There is a scientific explanation.
So everything I'm saying is wrong.
You don't have to apologize unless you've done something wrong.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't even think straight right now.
This is the worst of the riot. We're very, very sorry.
Man, everywhere I look, real talk, I see the walking wounded. Not the walking dead, the walking wounded. And what I mean is people are hurt. And if you get to know people long enough and, really get to talk to them, they might tell you what the deep hurt is that they're carrying around. I've got a friend whose brother sexually abused her for years. Nobody knew about it. I've got another friend, her dad, same thing. I've got another friend who went to the bus stop and got mocked every single day for years. And it left a mark. I have another friend, get a load of this. His parents, growing up, they would always tell him, like, if he wanted something or he wanted to go somewhere or whatever, they would always tell him, like, well, we can't do that. We had you. He was a quote-unquote surprise pregnancy. And so they were always kidding, but
it still left a mark.
No, it left a mark for this guy. And I could go on and on, like all the different people that I have talked to or been in a room with where they have stood up and shared like these things that have marked them and they've carried with them. And you know what? I know what mine are. I don't necessarily know what Nikki's are or what yours are. But here's something I want you to know. Those do not have to be our life-defining moments. Now, for a lot of us, they are. What we do is we get a little bit older, we learn to hide them. And we hide them for a long time, and maybe as we get older, they come out. But we think we hide them, but in reality, they have huge effects on our behavior, huge effects on our relationships and how we live. And what I want to do is I want to free you from that nonsense. I want you to get out from it. I want you to leave it behind. Now, look, I can't make it like it never happened. In fact, there's not much I can do for you at all. The best I can really do is introduce you to someone that can help you. Now, here's what Jesus has done for me. The things in my life that we're not going to get into right now that, have left marks, God has healed me from those things. Now, it's an ongoing process. Every once in a while, something will pop up and I'll be like, wait a minute. This is not quite right. This is because of blank. And I'll take some time and I'll talk to God about it. We have to work through it. And it's not always easy. Facing that thing that you carry around with you that you like to pretend's not there, it can hurt a little bit to turn and look at it. But this time it's going to be different because this time I want you to take that thing and I want you to hand it off to God and say, God, look, here's this thing. I really need you to help me. Like, I'm hurting. I say I'm not, but I really am. Please heal me from this thing. And God can do that. Now, you got to ask, right? That's it. And does that sound hard? It's not really. Just say, Jesus, here's this thing that is, kind of poisoning my day to day. And God wants to get involved and help you. So let's just start with that. If you got something, and maybe you've never met God before, maybe you've known him forever, we'll just start. You do that. Say, Jesus, I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I've got this thing that happened. You know about it. Could you help me? Could you heal me? And you know what? It might be, as you're praying about it, you may need to go and talk to somebody. Find a friend, somebody you can trust. But I know this. God wants you to get past that so you can live life the way He wants you to live it, the way you want to live it, instead of this thing dogging you for the rest of your days.
If you were offended or disgusted by anything Obadiah said this morning,
If you weren't so dumb, I might be offended.
you must be new. You'll get used to it. The Riot on Radio U.
You don't have to sit in silence if you have over 200 Blu-rays.
During this game, you're more than welcome to stand up straight and get ready to guess.
All right, so we're playing high or lower. How many Blu-rays do I own?
Because, again, yesterday we talked about this guy in Winnipeg. He's selling his movie collection.
Right.
Over 17,000 items, which he wants to get at least $1 million for. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's possible, but
it seems
that's
a little
not what
high.
this is about.
Seems a little high. So your question in the morning is, how many do I have? Well, that's the high or lower thing.
Blu-rays.
So we're at 210 to 222.
So you got to go in between there.
We're very, very close. So, Dan, give me a number between 210 and 222.
Will he pick it?
I don't know.
217.
217? Yay!
He got it.
Yay!
So I just have to say,
Oh my God.
he really got it.
Good day today.
All right, so I have to say, I'm sorry to Chad and Skylar and
All who had
Adam.
to wait.
They were all waiting to guess, and Dan on his first. He
Very
got it.
good. Well,
Yeah.
hang tight for us,
Got it
Dan. Hang tight 1 second, okay?
All right, so there you got it,
So you have
Dan.
217 Blu-rays?
Again, that's the movies counted individually
No, I
in the box
understand.
sets, and then seasons of TV shows counted as one.
So you're not going by like disc numbers.
No. By disc numbers, it would be way higher than
Now,
that.
do you have more Blu-rays than DVDs? Because you got rid of most of your DVDs, or is this
I didn't actually. You know what I did? I donated a ton of my DVDs to. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a program for soldiers that are deployed overseas. They send them movies, and they didn't want Blu-rays. They just wanted DVDs. And so I gave. The sad part was they had a list of ones they didn't want
And
because
you-
they were
you
so
had a
common.
lot.
Yeah, that was like
Oh,
everything.
that's too bad. You're like,
So
sorry.
many of my movies. They're like, we don't want this and we don't want
I mean,
that.
that's my whole collection, but I was just curious to get a number of like, well, how big is your actual movie collection?
My DVD collection, now, I would say there's at least 100, but I would say it's probably fair to say there's almost 200 because I have two shelves down there, and I've got the DVDs on one side and then the Blu-rays on the other.
Well, you're
And-
not at the 17,300
No.
that this guy has.
Well, I mean, it's a little embarrassing, but
And then your
I mean,
digital collection.
is not that bad,
Is that
actually. The only thing I own digitally is stuff that came as a copy inside a Blu-ray.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, and just to be clear, when we hit Black Friday, I
This
currently
week.
have. I want you to know I've got $70 in my Black Friday
So
envelope.
get ready because we're going higher.
And I make myself not buy things until we get to Black Friday, and then
So
it's
get
a
more.
free-for-all.
Okay.
Imagine a world where the Riot never talks and it's glorious Radio U music for hours on end. Now, imagine the opposite of that. You're already there. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Okay, Nikki, I'm going to say a name that's going to mean nothing to you.
Uh-huh.
The name is Joe Casada.
Well, no, I know him. Teasing. Totally teasing.
You know, Nikki, for it to be teasing, I would have to care.
Oh.
And you can't hurt me.
Whatever.
After years of being beaten, the calluses have grown so thick that I'm fine.
I can't stand it.
Okay, I'm fine.
Why don't you tell us what he's done?
Joe Casada has done a lot of things. He works at Marvel Comics. He's an artist. He's an editor. He's a writer. Right now, he's their chief creative officer.
Yeah.
Former CEO. So this guy, he has had his hands in a lot of things that are very popular right now. Joe Casada, though, at night, he goes home, he kisses his wife, he puts his feet up. That's the life of Joe.
Still a normal guy.
He's got a house in New York City and had a little problem, just like many of us could have any day. Joe's just a normal guy. Water pipe bursts, causes a bunch of water damage. So he grabs the wife who he kissed earlier before putting his feet up, and they go to their other house. And he called, which is something that we would
Now,
not have
maybe
the option to do.
Not everybody has that part. That's a
where
little
the line-
difference. I mean, we all are different.
The line gets drawn a little bit at that
Is a different
point.
house in the same city?
Maybe they went to their vacation home. I don't know, but he goes to another place and he hires somebody to come in and fix the water damage. Okay, that's fantastic, right?
So far, this seems pretty normal.
Seems reasonable. This contractor that he hired goes by the name of Francesco Bove. And Francesco is, he thinks Joe's got a nice house. So one evening he goes in, he's going to do the work, and he puts stuff over all the security cameras in the house, and he just moves in. But that's not the only thing he does. He moves in, and he also has a little art auction.
Oh, he sells all the pieces of art.
Now, keep in mind, this is Joe Casada. He is a popular artist who has worked at Marvel Comics with a lot of popular artists. As a result, even though to some people it was just stupid comic book stuff, these are original prints of, art that people love. It looks like he made, they're saying somewhere around $250,000 in sales.
I'd be sad to see them go, but isn't it nice that people bought them?
It is nice.
Like I would be, unless he's like fire selling it just to try to dump them fast, and he could have gotten more.
Something like that.
Then maybe you'd be upset.
So get a load of this. There were two things that happened, and these are amazing. One, wherever they were at, they decided to check the security cameras remotely to see what was going on, and they were all blacked out. They're like, what's going on? So they called a friend in the neighborhood to go check the house, and he's like, yeah, it kind of looks like somebody's living here. He's like, have you guys been here recently? No, we haven't, whatever. And then, this is even better, another friend calls and says, Joe, why are you selling that? He's like, what are you talking about? That portrait you did of your wife? He did a portrait of his wife.
And the guy's selling it?
And the guy found it for sale.
Listen, this guy's got initiative, okay? He's selling stuff. He's trying.
Wow.
So they caught him before they sold most of the items, or did some of them go?
Well, a lot of them went. So they're now tracking them back down. And I'll tell you, Francesco, he's he's allegedly
in a lot of trouble.
Alleged is an important word. Alleged.
Now, in like 2030, why don't we look for some sort of Marvel storyline which walks and tracks along with this guy?
Somebody that
the
moves
contractor,
in, takes over a house.
Something like that. And you're like, wait, I know this story. I heard Obi tell it one day.
Thor's trying to check the Palantir in Asgard, and it looks like somebody's moved in.
There in his other home.
Who knew, right?
With virtual reality, the possibilities are endless. It gives us the ability to live out any of our wildest dreams. So maybe we can use it to pretend the riot doesn't exist. The Riot on Radio U.
Okay, do you play video games? Because I do. And have you noticed a problem? Maybe it's not a problem, but it's annoying. It started a couple of years ago, but it's way mainstream this holiday season. And that is the loot box. Do you know what a loot box is, Nikki?
Like Loot Crate, like a box you get each month that has different stuff in it?
No, but that's a great guess, and I want to give you credit for it.
Is it not?
I do. I want to give you credit for it.
Like a beauty box?
No, it's like this. You're playing a video game, and at the end of a round or a match or something, if you've done well enough, you get a loot box. That box contains randomized loot.
Sure, and it just tallies up, and then you can get stuff with it.
It depends. Yes, in some cases, it would be like, this is gold that you can use in the game. But in a lot of cases, it will be like, hey, this is an outfit for my character, which people are way into, and I just see us all dressing up our dollies. But that's another discussion for another time.
Easy there.
I'm sorry, too real? Should I back it?
Some people like that part of it.
I know they do. And you know what makes me sick is I like it, too. I'm like, dude, you see that new sword I got? See how sweet it looks?
And they're like, in real life, they're like, no way, man. My virtual sword.
So stupid, but they got me, right? So there's all these loot box stuff. And the part where it gets kind of like, is that with some games, you can buy a loot box. Like, not getting enough loot boxes? Well, why don't you buy 5 of them for, $10.99? 5 loot boxes. Whee! Now, here's where, to me, it becomes really interesting. First off, I hate that because I'm just like, look, I paid for the game. Give me the stuff.
Sure.
There's that. Here's the other part, though. The ESRB has officially kind of ruled on the fact that it's not gambling.
The loot boxes?
So that has been a question that has been kind of floating around. It's like, all right, now wait a minute. If you're telling me that I'm going to give you $5 and that $5 gives me a chance for something.
But then any game would be disqualified for that.
Well, yes.
There's a lot of games that offer it.
Yes and no. But the idea would be, and it's a really important distinction because if that game is shown as like, hey, this is gambling, they got problems.
Okay, so it's because like if you won a loot crate in a game, that's one thing.
Right.
But if you're buying the extra chance for the loot crate, then that's something else.
But the ESRB says it's not gambling because no matter what, you receive something.
Sure.
So if it would be a chance like, hey,
and you lost out.
You get a loot crate and you got nothing.
Oh, boy, there's some laws on that.
Then it's gambling. But if you spend $5 and you're definitely going to get something,
it's not gambling.
It's not gambling anymore.
That's actually a very interesting point to make. Because in games you can buy a lot of the chance. Like in one game I play, you could, after so many points, you can get like a chest full of, like you said, the random items.
Stuff, yeah.
And it powers up players or gives you different versions of players. But then you can also use your money and buy those too, but you always get something.
Well, there's that. The big thing is like that's been common with mobile games for a long time,
yeah.
But it's making its way into like console games. So like Forza Motorsport 7 this fall has got loot boxes in it. And I've like, what was it? Fortnite does. And another big thing that people are complaining about is the new Lord of the Rings game.
Has it too?
Yeah, that has loot boxes in it that you can earn them, but then you also can buy them. And some people are saying once you get to a certain point in the game, you really wish you want to buy a couple more.
Because you just can't stand it.
Just need a couple more legendary orcs, you know?
Just a few more.
Oh, man. Every time I turn around, somebody's like, hey, I'm going to need just a little more money. What about me getting more money?
But you get loot for it.
The part that keeps me up at night, we paid them for this. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Hey, Nikki, pass me that margarita.
Okay.
You know what? Never mind. Pass me Steve instead.
Steve? So
Yeah.
not Margarita?
Well, Steve and Margarita.
Ah, it's a person.
Well, yeah. So they're from Virginia and the Ukraine.
Nice.
So they are from both. I think that Margarita is from the Ukraine, though I'm going to be honest, and I hate to be like this, that just doesn't feel like a Russian name to me.
You're just, but...
and technically Ukrainian because they were part of... Okay.
And Steve, so it's fine.
Steve feels very Virginian. Sure. Sure it does.
But you shouldn't be doing that.
What? I'm not. You're right.
It's wrong of you.
My name's Obadiah. Who am I? Who am I?
Think like you're gonna pull up in a horse.
Or is it one of those things where I'm like, well, I got a weird name, so I can say things about names.
You're allowed to.
I'm allowed to do that. I have no idea, but I do know this, Nikki. There are two people that I feel like you would get along terribly with.
Why? What do they do?
Because you would. They build a little house. And I don't mean on the prairie.
Yeah.
They made themselves a little house, and now they're driving from state.
There's the key. So it's
state.
a tiny home that moves.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So,
I see
okay,
now.
wait. Would you
when you
prefer
said a little house, I thought, where is this quaint house going to be located for its entire life?
It's a small mansion located on about 100 acres. Nothing too big.
But you were talking a movable tiny home.
I'm talking about an 11 by 16 tiny home.
Because I watch tiny home shows. I hate them, but I still watch it. And there's a difference because there's tiny homes that are too big to still really move. And if you move them, you have to hire a company. So it's possible. But then there's smaller tiny homes. And those are the ones that can go on like the back of a truck. Mm-hmm. And it looks like you're pulling a caboose or something.
I mean, it's nice. Like they have, it's nice as a bedroom. Like when I look at their bed out, it's like, oh, that's nice.
But then their bedroom's the whole thing.
Their bedroom converts to the kitchen, which converts to the converts and the converts and all this stuff.
So are they making it or what's
No.
unique about theirs?
It's made, the story's just gotten picked up because, it's done and they're out on their trips and they're Instagramming it all.
I wonder how much money you can actually make from if you traveled and you did a vlog or a blog or Instagram or something. Like, how does that equate to, is that
money.
enough to live on? Because you still need money even if you have a tiny home.
Well, at some point, I don't
You need
even know.
some income.
I don't even know how they monetize it because if their whole thing is like we're reducing and whatever, so like the park is not paying you to take a picture in the park.
No,
I mean,
but
your
if
best hope is like, but in my new Timberland boots, I'm able to climb all over this mountain.
No, but if they're running like a blog and they're selling advertising through their website and then everything else directs them to that, they could make some money, but they're not the only ones doing that.
Well, I think
or like if you're making a book.
I think their hope at this point is that, they... I don't even know how I want to say it. Like they're living on so little.
Sure, that it's very easy to make something.
Exactly that.
Because I know some people who travel and it's like, all right, well, we'll stay in this town for a few weeks. They pick up an odd job. that's enough to like take you to the next town.
Okay, just show of hands. Did anybody think about the Bond villain?
Which one?
Anybody?
Odd Job?
I see a couple hands.
Which
okay,
movie's that one?
Goldfinger. It's
Okay.
fine. Sorry, but it was just the way you said it. I was like, oh, Odd Job.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever.
Okay.
So, all right, Nikki, I want to show you pictures, but I feel like you're angry enough today. So
No,
why?
oh, that's mean. I'm not. I'm perfectly fine.
I'm not mad. Show me the pictures.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to see them now.
See?
Oh, I'm sure they're lovely. tiny homes and me, we don't mix.
She looks so much like my friend Emily that it's a little weird.
Is it her?
No, it's not.
Does she go by
Margarita.
Yes.
We always called her Margarita.
That's right. 1 year for Spanish, I picked that name.
Oh, really?
And so maybe she was just like, you know what? I feel like being a margarita for my new life on the road.
My Spanish teacher had a Spanish Bible, and he pulled it out, and he was like, Obadiah, you're Abdias. And that's what they called me for 3 years.
That's
Abdias.
it. Abdias.
Yeah, 3 years of Spanish. I'm real good at it.
Wish the worst of the riot would never end?
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
What is wrong with you? Get our daily podcast through iTunes, Google Play, or the Radio U app.
I have a weird brain. And I still think I should be able to go somewhere and get diagnosed with something. I'm sure that I'm not going to, because I don't want to know.
You don't want to
wanna
start all that?
I just want to live somewhat blissfully ignorant. And I began to realize this when yesterday I was really excited. I love a guy named Crumb. He's an independent hip-hop guy. We play some of his music.
You might remember him more as Plato.
Yes, and he was a part of a hip-hop supergroup, all right? Like, I'm talking Power Rangers level of intensity.
Deep Space 5.
Deep Space 5. Look, it's even in the name. It feels like science fiction. I love it. So Deep Space 5, it was him and Manchild, like a bunch of people together. And I love it. Absolutely love it. And their last album was called The Future Ain't What It Used to Be.
When was that?
2011, 2012. They just put it out on Bandcamp, which means you can get super high quality audio files of it if you want. And they also released a mixtape that has been, I guess, unavailable. I had never even heard of it, and I was really excited. I haven't grabbed it yet, but sometime today,
the plan is
it is my intention to snag that and listen to it.
If you like
pieces.
some of Radio U old school hip hop,
yes, and I do, I really, really do. But as I was thinking about it, and why does my brain go there? I had this image of, okay, if I was standing there with Crumb, and Crumb was like, "Hey, bro, I can either give you this album."
Or
like this collector's edition vinyl signed by everyone, behind the scenes photos, it's a one of a kind, it's the only one. Or I have these fresh donuts here from Amy's Donuts.
it's a place you like.
And
why the two choices?
I need you to decide which one you would rather have. And I don't know why my brain crafted
why do you
it.
even have the choice? You can have both if you want.
Well, but see, Nikki,
Your
can't.
poor brain.
I can't, because he says I can only have one or the other. And so I'm stuck in this very theoretical circumstance. I know it's made up, but what I don't understand is, why did my brain even make that up? Why is it when I was presented...
You didn't have to choose. Yeah, Crumb wouldn't do that to you.
Well, there's a couple things. One, the choice doesn't exist. 2, that vinyl doesn't exist. 3, Crumb's not here. 4, there are no donuts here.
It seems like there's a deeper problem that you're asking with this dream or whatever you had with the choice.
And what did I say, Nikki? I think it's
Something's
diagnosable.
wrong? I don't know.
But I don't want to know.
I'm not worried about it because it was just donuts. Donuts and music, that's a big part of our riot life.
It is.
It's fine.
It is.
If it was something besides a donut, I would be concerned.
So what, like, hey, Obadiah, you can either have this vinyl or Nikki's
Nikki dies.
life.
Yes, exactly. Something like that. Or like, she gets it, but you can have the donuts and they're fresh. The point that they're fresh and just warm and right out, like, it makes it as hard as possible.
Well, I was going to say, like, you switched it up on me, because I thought if it was like Nikki's life or the album, you're going to live.
Oh, no, it's just me still the donuts.
But if it's you and the
I did
donuts.
make it that way, didn't I? Oh, no, what if it was all 3 and you had to choose between the 3?
I'm like, so, Crumb, tell me, do you know how long she'd live if I didn't have the donuts?
You want to make sure?
Like, are you guaranteed she's going to make it through next year?
Oh, I guess if not. Well, Well, I don't like where this went. Never mind.
Just to be clear, you're the one.
I know.
You made it dark. It wasn't me.
You just did with that.
Mine was weird.
Hey.
You took it dark, like what if my life was on the line?
And then you took it darker by saying, well, how long does she have to live anyways?
Well, I have to know because donuts.
Smarter choice.
Can she have the donuts with me before you know?
Send your complaints regarding that worst of the riot moment to Fire Obadiah at RadioU.com.
Remember this stuff, guys?
Christmas Nikki.
stuff?
Christmas. I always like it when I see networks, movie theaters, I guess, movie executives taking a look at the things that Nikki likes a lot and then bringing them out so that she can have more of what she really likes.
So what is it?
Well, Nikki, you're a huge fan, as I understand, of A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story? Which
the
one?
Red Ryder BB gun?
No, I do not like it. And I don't know why I hate it so much, but I just don't like it. I don't think it's clever. I think it's cruel. I think it's...
Wait, pause.
I think it's a style that I don't like.
Why is it cruel?
I don't like the tone of it, look of it.
You don't like the 50s, isn't that when it's supposed to happen? No, it's like the 40s, right?
I think so. It's just very.
Nikki's like post World War II America can just forget it.
It's very. I've only watched it one time, and I just remember I just didn't like it.
Well, what if you would watch it again and like it?
I'm not, because when it comes to Christmas music, I like Elf and like the overly cheerful ones.
Okay,
so I think that was too real.
What if they were singing?
Singing. We're singing. We're singing.
See? Maybe that's why you like Elf.
That could be it.
Because
I like White Christmas. That has singing in it.
Singing?
Could be.
Singing?
This
Christmas?
This is the formula that I like.
Oh, yeah. Well, A Christmas Story live.
Oh, are they doing one of the networks going to do that?
Yeah, that's right. Fox. They're going to do A Christmas Story live this Sunday, December 17th at 7 p.m.
Oh, let me mark that down.
Go right ahead.
So I don't forget it.
It's only 1 week from Christmas, Nikki.
Well, that's nice.
It is nice.
If you like it, then this is great. It's a different way to watch it.
I have no idea what the musical sounds like, but I am guilty of liking A Christmas Story. I don't even know why. I think I like it because it's funny. I think that to me it taps into.
Funny is.
Don't you remember what it was like to really want one thing for Christmas really, really badly, and it was the only thing you wanted, and you campaigned for it?
Not like that.
Okay, I do.
No, not like that at all.
I absolutely do. I remember what it was like to want something for Christmas desperately, and it was the only thing that you wanted. And I am embarrassed to tell you that when you get it, it's the best.
It's the best feeling.
I'm supposed to tell you.
You didn't need it. You were fine without it.
I found out that, you know what, there's more to Christmas than stuff.
Right.
And, I'm supposed to tell you that? That's the thing I'm supposed to say?
That's the mature response we should be sharing with you, the listeners.
But there was something I wanted desperately for Christmas, and my mom got it for me, and it was just like... it's still almost, I could almost cry about it because I know
such a memory.
Hey, I know my mom sacrificed, and it was not, I know she couldn't really afford it. There's all these things I know about it, but I also remember the overwhelming excitement, the kind you can only have when you're a kid, and I got that thing, and I'm materialistic. I'm a terrible person, but...
No, it's just when you're a kid.
I just remember that. And so watching that movie when he's desperate, I remember just being like, oh, yeah, dude. Ralphie, I feel you, bro.
So
I do.
That's why he likes it. December 17th, you said?
Yeah, but the news was they've cast their lead actor, Andy Walken, 11 years old, Seattle, Washington. He's going to be the Ralphie. He won out of a group of 350 actors that they were looking at.
And that'll be for A Christmas Story live.
Live.
So they'll be doing that on Fox.
So it'll be my first time watching Fox this year. Well, that's not true.
Didn't you watch X-File?
Yes, you're right. And the Ohio State game was on Fox a couple weeks ago.
So that's not true.
So I lied. I told you I was a terrible person.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
We'll make it a bubble bath so, all the important parts are covered.